Hey, what's up guys? John the pilot. I'm on layover in Vancouver, Washington. It's actually really nice, really cold outside, but I want to go over 7 myths in order to help educate people that are A, trying to become pilots or current pilots that are out in the aviation system. First and foremost, I am not a medical doctor. All I am doing is going over many things that I have heard that people were misinformed about that stopped them from going to get their FAA medical and possibly becoming a professional pilot. Please stick around to the very end. I have a very important resource for everybody, just in case if you run into some medical hiccups, they will be able to guide you and help you professionally through the process because they have direct contact with the FAA and all the FAA surgeons in order to make sure that you could potentially get a special issuance medical. So stick around for that. All right, myth number 1. Myth number 1 is all about that an FAA medical exam is extremely difficult or rigorous to pass. That by far is not the case. You would not believe how many times I've heard of people don't even go try to get their FAA medical certificate because of simple things such as wearing corrective lenses and or thinking that they have issues because of specific medications. The truth is the FAA is actually pretty helpful in making sure that people can go ahead and document everything that they may have with their ailment, and then that documentation can be used to prove that it's safe for them to fly. It could cause a process where it makes it go through a little decision making, which may extend the time from when you get your medical, but overall, most people have no issues passing their FAA medical examination. Military may be a different subject. We're not getting into that into this video. Myth number 2. You need to have perfect health to pass an FAA medical examination. I can assure you that you don't need to have perfect health to be a pilot or pass and get a flight physical, i.e. a class 1, 2, or 3. There are so many people that fly for a living that have ailments all the way from minor, mild, and potentially some case-by-case situations where it may be considered to be severe, but they are working as a pilot today. Documentation is needed. Your FAA designated medical examiner will be there to support you and help you through that process.
Okay, now with that being said, some FAA designated examiners or medical examiners are only general practitioners and they may not be too smart on the process. Just in case you run into that snag, there are resources out there with very, very professional organizations that specialize in getting you back in the air based on your ailments. Stick around to the end. I'm going to have info for you on that. It's super important.
Please don't try to not get your medical based on some things you've heard from somebody. And another thing, hearsay is probably one of the most damaging things that anybody could listen to. Some of the ailments that could possibly prevent you from stop flying, I'm going to leave a link in the description, and that's based on what the FAA considers. But even still, in those cases, people have gotten a special issuance letter and been able to fly. Myth number 3. Any history of mental health issues automatically disqualifies you from an FAA medical certificate. This by far is probably one of the most misunderstood things with the FAA. Just recently, we heard about a pilot that was sitting in the jump seat, and unfortunately what he tried to do was pull the handles off to make sure the engine shut down, okay? And these were the fire handles. Extremely serious situation. I'm not going to get into the details of what happened with that, maybe not on this video, but I would like to talk about the misnomer and also the stigma that's going on with mental health issues in aviation, that it is still possible for one to be able to fly as long as specific criteria is met, documentation is performed, and people actually reach out for help. That is the biggest problem that I've seen.
And if we were better educated about the stigma of mental health, I don't think this pilot would have chosen the path that he did for the treatment he was seeking, and he wouldn't have got himself in such a huge bind with murder charges.
Most people who I've talked to have come up to me and said I've had specific mental health issues, and I can't say that they're going to be able to get their their medical to fly, but I can say that there is a process for them to be evaluated and potentially get a special issuance medical certificate. Current pilots that are flying really have a hard time reaching out and asking for help because they are not aware of the resources that are available for them in order to get the help they need to to get back into a condition where they are safe to fly and continue on with a great quality of life and also have a really fruitful career. I have resources, and if anybody is out there, if you're a current pilot or somebody else that needs help, please shoot me an email, whatworksforme@gmail.com. I got your back. I'd be more than happy to help you. Myth number 4. If you're taking any medications, you cannot pass an FAA medical exam. This is simply false. Now, I do know there is a list of medications that the FAA has approved. Some of them may require specific screening, specific case-by-case situations. There are tons of pilots out there that are on blood pressure medications, you name it, maybe other type of medications that could help specific ailments that are deemed safe to fly as long as certain conditions are met. However, having medications is not an issue when it comes to flying. There are grounding medication, and you need to be specifically careful for what you take before you fly. I'm going to leave the resources in the links below so that you know.
I'm sure you got tons of questions, and I've got tons of advice. I want to connect with you, and I want to share that advice. Find me on Connect. It's a new app by Valuetainment, and what it does is it allows experts like me to connect with you to know that you're serious about the answers you're looking for. I will respond to you extremely quick, generally within a day, probably even sooner than that, and I would love to share my experience, knowledge, anything that you may need to help you on your aviation journey. If you're coming out of the military and you're looking to use your VA benefits to get your airplane licenses, helicopter pilot licenses, guess what? I've done that. I know how to do that. If you're having trouble maintaining your medical, I've been through the special issuance process. I can point you in the right direction. Or if you just have any type of career advice questions, anything that's coming up for an interview, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you. Find me on Connect. It's John Hantzis, JohnHantzis. Download Connect, get it on your iPhone, get it on your Android, and connect with me so we can have a chat. See you soon.
Myth number 5. Okay, you go to an FAA medical examiner and you get denied, okay? It does happen to pilots out there. It does happen to people searching in order to get an FAA certificate class 1, 2, or 3. This does not mean that you're going to be permanently disqualified from getting your FAA medical certificate. There are going to be guidelines based on the conditions that you have in order to meet specific criteria moving forward and get the treatment that you need to be qualified to fly later on. Do not lose hope. I'm going to talk about a very significant resource that many professional pilots use that helps them navigate the woes, especially if they have their medical denied. Stick around. Myth number 6. Older pilots or people who are older, and I like to say, getting closer to the retirement age, possibly around the age of 65 or older. Just being older does not disqualify you from getting an FAA medical certificate. The one thing that I will say is if you're trying to get a class 1 medical certificate in order to fly part 121, yes, as of right now, 65 is the cutoff. Congress did have a bill that was proposed just recently. I'll see if I can find the article right here, where they were voting to increase the age to 67. However, my interpretation and what I understand is it missed by 1 vote, so currently the retirement age for most major airline pilots, for all major airline pilots, is going to be 65, to be determined. However, if you want to still fly professionally, you don't necessarily need to have a class 1 medical or a first class medical. You can also fly professionally under a class 2 medical and even a class 3 medical under certain circumstances, such as being a CFI. I'm not going to get into details in this video with that, but you can still fly professionally even after the age of 65 as long as you can meet specific criteria when you go in for your FAA medical examination. Something to think about. Okay, myth number 7. If you fail an FAA medical examination, there is no chance for you to get back in the cockpit. I want to crush that right now because unfortunately we have a huge stigma of pilots out there that are hiding medical conditions that could be easily corrected, and the FAA can know about them. There will be no issues moving forward. You go ahead and get a Special Issuance FAA Medical Certificate letter. You meet specific criteria, and then you get back in the cockpit and it's not a big deal. The reason why I like to talk about this is because there are so so many pilots that are scared about this. Now, if you are scared, I do believe it is an extremely smart thing to do and find very professional medical advice through specific companies, and that's what I'm going to get over here. Two companies that I recommend are absolutely fantastic in helping you navigate an FAA medical examination nightmare. Number one is the Aviation Medicine Advisory Service, also known as AMAS. I'm going to put the link down in the description right here. I've helped thousands of pilots in multiple different case-by-case situations, from having cardiovascular issues, neurological problems, and or even substance abuse, to get pilots in a situation where they can be treated, found very, very competent to fly, and also getting back in the cockpit. Even if they're not pilots that have nothing to do with making money, and let's just say it's a Class 3 medical certificate where they go fly general aviation private pilots on their own, this company, AMAS, is by far one of the most reputable companies out there. They do require a fee in order to kind of evaluate your case, but they have one of the quickest communications with all the FAA doctors, and they will get you on a path to let you know if it's possible for you to get back in the cockpit, or maybe, you know what, this isn't right for you and it's time to do something else. But I would specifically go to them. Another one is also called Wingman Med. I know tons of veterans and other pilots out there that have used Wingman Medical, and they absolutely love the service that's provided. They are very similar to what Aviation Medical Advisory Service provides. It's just a different company. And in this company, what they do is they do the same process, and they have medical professionals that have dealt with thousands of cases, especially knowing the FAA regulations, and be able to get somebody into a position where they're able to fly again. I hope this video you found was extremely helpful. For anybody out there that's concerned about their medical conditions, please, I will even bend over backwards to figure out a way how I can help you. Shoot me an email at whatworksforme@gmail.com, and I would be happy to help you. Whether you're thinking about becoming a pilot, you're having an issue getting your medical certificate back, or even if you're working for a major airline and you don't know which way to go because you're having a serious either mental health or medical issue, I'll be happy to reach out and see what I can do to help point you in the right direction. I just want to make sure that we start moving forward and kind of smashing the stigma to make sure that people get help when they need the help. We all know in today's society that mental health and also other situations are not addressed correctly, and there's a huge stigma out there. I'd rather get to the root cause of the problem and help somebody have a better quality of life moving forward, and also have a very fruitful career. If you found this information and this video helpful, please like, give me a subscription, share the video to all your other friends out there, and also ask me on the comments below if you would like to see another video helping you possibly become a pilot, all the way to any issues when you're trying to transition to a major airline, or even if you just want to fly private pilot and have a good old time in general aviation. Shoot me a comment below. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching so far, and I'm going to have more content, more videos coming. John the Pilot. See ya.
I sincerely hope this video helps somebody out there. Please hit me up if you need anything. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's go ahead and have fun out there and be safe. Until next time.